Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Keep It Pro training call brought to you by Networking Wisdom each and every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific for the past 5 years. The purpose of this call is not only to learn the skills for success in business and network marketing, but also in life. Thank you for joining. My name is Meredith, and I have the honor and privilege to introduce the creator and host, Mr. Romacio Fulcher. Romacio is a well-sought-after leader, trainer, coach, as well as a very successful international entrepreneur. At the age of 25 years, he made his first millions in mortgage and real estate, and shortly after that, he was introduced to network marketing. Because he was an ideal student and learned from the best, he quickly rose to the top. In fact, he has been one of the top 50 MLM income earners in the entire world. He has over 750,000 people in his organization and has done over $1 billion in sales. He knows how to make money, and he knows how to make it fast. He loves to have fun, but most of all, he loves to share his wisdom he has gained over the years. In fact, he has helped countless individuals make life-changing income all over the world. What I love most about Romacio is his ability to know exactly what his audience needs to hear each and every time he speaks. I highly suggest that you find a quiet place and grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes and remember these nuggets of wisdom he's going to share today. Without further ado, here is your millionaire mentor, the California kid, marketplace minister, Mr. Romacio Fulcher. Are you there?
Absolutely, I'm here. Can you hear me, Meredith?
Loud and clear.
All righty. Thank you so much, Meredith, for stepping up and being our host on another edition of the Sunday Keep It Pro training call. Guys, I love doing this call, even when I don't feel like doing it. Woo! Write that down. That's a good nugget for those of you taking notes right now. Guys, if you don't know, we've been doing this call for over 5 years. 5 years. Can you believe it? Right here, 5 years, same number, same time, same vibe. Say it again. We've been doing this for 5 years. Same number, same time, same vibe. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. I don't care who you are, where you are. Every single one of you are promoting something. The word promote means to make known. You are promoting something. The man that says, no, I'm not promoting anything. Yes, you are. You're promoting you. You're promoting you. You're promoting something. So every Sunday, what this call is about, we teach you the specific skills that you need to get to the very top of whatever it is that you are promoting. We're also going to teach you life skills as well. You're going to oftentimes find on your entrepreneurial journey that as you grow as an individual, what does that mean when we talk about growth? What we're talking about when we refer to the word growth, we're talking about your perspective changes or shifts or enhances. In other words, that's growth. When you grow, everything else around you grows. So what you're going to notice from Sunday in to Sunday out, we're going to be talking about either a specific skill, and just to let you know, if you're building a business, a network marketing business, or any type of business that you're building that requires skills, in any business that you build, as we all know, it does require skill, there's really only 7 skills. There's only 7 skills that you need to master. Now, when we talk about the word mastery, please write this down. Whether this is your first time or you're a seasoned vet listening to the sound of my voice, when we talk about mastery, we must make sure to mention we're talking about 10,000 hours. I met a little boy. He told me, man, I've mastered that thing. I said, boy, hush your mouth. He said, I've mastered that thing. I said, boy, be quiet. He said, no, man, I got that thing mastered. I said, how much time you put into it? He said, man, I've been doing about 6 months, man. I got that thing mastered. I said, young man, have a seat and come to the class because you don't understand what mastery is all about. Mastery requires time, sacrifice, blood, sweat, tears. Mastery takes, as they say by science, some would argue it takes 10,000 hours to be able to master a thing. So when we talk about the 7 skills that you're going to need to master, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, kick your feet up, because we're going to be a while, right? That's what it takes to master something, okay? But also we're going to be training you on life skills. And that's what you'll hear. Either you'll hear a specific skill, one of the 7, that we'll be talking about week in and week out, or you'll hear a particular life skill that we'll be training on. But rest assured, Both of the specific skills and life skills go hand in hand. You say, well, how do I know? Let me say it again. As you grow, everything else around you will grow. So in other words, if you want a simpler way of understanding what I just said, as your mind continues to expand, your perspective continues to shift, continue to grow, you'll grow. Let me give you the simplest example of saying this. I'm 43 years old. Let's say if I was 17 and you stepped on my toe, guess what? At 17, you stepped on my toe. I'm gonna say, hey, why you step on my toe? I got a problem with that. Let's fight, right? Well, now I'm 43, right? You step on my toe at 43. I take a deep breath and I say, ma'am, sir, you've been excused. So what's the difference? The difference is the same activity happened to me, stepping on my toe, but I'm in a different place in my life. My perspective has grown. You see, when you get kids and you got a reason for living and you got purpose behind you, you know, one fight doesn't just end in today's time. We all know where I'm from in East Oakland, you better be careful who you fight, because if you lose, they're coming back for you. If you lose, and if you win, you better go hide. So it's never ending. So in other words, fighting with your fist is not always the wisest thing to do. So my point that I'm making to all of you is that, again, that's a life skill that we're talking about. That's a life skill that we're talking about, right? So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to continue the theme that we've been talking about, which is prosperity. We've been talking about prosperity. I believe this is the fourth or fifth session to this call. And I want to, first of all, just start off by letting you know, according to God's word, he wants all of us to prosper. Now, when we talk about prosperity, it's kind of funny to me. I used to always think that prosperity only meant about money. That's what I thought. Well, if you go back to, you can follow us on YouTube or you can listen to the recording, because we always post these calls right after they're done. You can go back and you can listen to the first call that we did just about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and you'll learn the definition of prosperity. It's not just referring to money. So as I talk about prospering and to prosper, we're talking about having good success in all that you do. Man, every time I say that, I know that that's something that I truly want. I want good success in all that I do. I want good success. And I'm sure whether you realize it or not, you want the same thing. And so as I begin to tell you, as we begin to talk about prosperity, and again, this is our fourth or fifth edition to this call, I want you to know that we're talking about good success. That's what we're talking about today. And we're going to continue on this theme because it's so important. I want you to know that not just your personal life, not just your spiritual life, not just your health, not just your business or your education, but also money. God wants you to prosper. And I want that for you as well. I want to give you a secret before we dive deeper into the message today. If you're anything like me, you know, I like to sum up things pretty quick. Although this call lasts 45 minutes to an hour from Sunday to Sunday, I can tell you I'm the type of guy that I like to sum up things quick. If you're looking and you want right now, like you just can't stand another day, another minute of just not feeling like you are prospering in what you're doing. If you just can't stand it, and I really mean it, I'm going to give you something so simple, so profound, that if you take me whole right now and you apply what I'm about to tell you right now, I believe you'll see instant results. Say it again. With what I'm about to say, if you take me whole and you apply it right now, I believe you will see instant results. Instant. So if you're the type of person that you just want more prosperity in your life and you got to have it, like you demand it, say that. Say that with me. Say that out loud, wherever you are. I demand prosperity in my house. I demand prosperity in my health. I demand prosperity in my relationship. I demand prosperity with my children. I demand prosperity in my spiritual growth. I demand prosperity anytime I open my mouth. Say that. Would you say that with me? Now, come on. Do we need to do it again, class? Do we need to do it again? I didn't hear you. Say that like you mean it. And if that's you, let me give you the shortcut. All you've got to do, take the mirror off of you and turn it around and focus on them. Let me say that again. The short answer, if you want more prosperity right now in your life, stop focusing on you and go focus on them. Go focus on them. Go give more. That is the simple answer to it all. I love when we talk about John 3:16, that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. You know, what's the point there? The point there, when you talk about love, love is about giving. And the more you give, the more you receive. That's really it. If you really want to know the secret, you know, I see all of these business guys with these fancy suits, and I got some of them too, and we get on all these interviews and all these, you know, TV shows, and we talk science, and we talk numbers, and we talk this, and we talk that about business, and we talk about culture, and all this stuff we talk about. But the mere essence of business, any type of business, nonprofit, for-profit, don't matter. The mere essence of business is to make someone's life better. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. Solve a problem with your product or your service. That's it. Cut the big talk. We don't need all that. Let's get down to the bottom line. What are you saying, Frank? Make someone's life better. That is the mere essence of business. Commerce. Make my life better with your product or service, I'll pay you. It's that simple. It's that simple. Don't complicate it, guys. So what is that about? It's about giving. It's about giving. Give me a good service. Give me a good product, and I'll pay you. Give me a good service. Give me a good product, and I'll pay you. So if you're looking and you're listening to this call right now, and you're looking for the shortcut, it's about giving. See, I understand all of you probably have dream boards, and I want to encourage you to continue to never, ever, 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 ever stop dreaming. God is the one that gave us the ability to dream, okay? So never stop dreaming. That's very important. But if all you do all day long is dream, 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 I need to wake you up, okay? Because I see some people, all they do is vision board, vision board, vision board, vision board. And yes, you need a vision. Yes, you should keep that thing before you. Yes, you should speak that thing. Yes, you should. You should speak the things that aren't as though they were. Yes, you should say what you heard until you see what you said. Yes, you should do that. But I see so many people, that's all they do is dream, dream, dream. Let me help you add one word to it. Serve, serve, serve. I told you. Sometimes I don't feel like doing this call. But you'll never get what you want in life if it's only when you feel like it. Come on, man. I think I'm talking to myself. You'll never, ever, ever get what you want in this lifetime if it's only when you feel like it. So what service is the rent that we pay for the space that we occupy on earth? If you want to know the shortcut to your dreams, the shortcut to your goals, the shortcut to finding your purpose, it all ties into service. Serve. And serving is about giving. You ever go to a restaurant? Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. My name is Romacio. Thank you for coming in today. I would love to go ahead and serve you and take your order. What would you like? Service, right? Service. It's about serving. We all have to serve somebody. Now, I know that most of people have heard this before. Oh, okay, serving. The problem is a lot of people don't do it. We spend all of our energy trying to figure out how we can cut a corner, how we can get something for nothing, how we can, girl, that's too hard for me. No, I need something simple. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. And so what I want to put before you today, if you really, really want more prosperity, take the focus off of you and put the focus on them. We don't even look at the call log. We don't check the YouTube view. We don't care about any of that stuff. We don't know your name, who's on this call. We don't know what company you are, where you live. And guys, frankly, we're not concerned about any of that stuff. We're not concerned about any of that. This was something that God placed in my heart because I've been very, very fortunate to have, the best of the best of the best mentors in my life. And so I know that so many people, both domestically and abroad, they wish to have access. They wish to be able to have more wisdom. And so I said to myself, why charge people for it? Wisdom is free. What do you mean? God said, let any man that lacks wisdom, all he's got to do is ask, and it shall be given to him for free. And so that's why this call is called Networking Wisdom. And we've been doing it for 5 years. See, let me tell you something. When you really discover who it is you are and what you're supposed to do in this lifetime, you don't have to worry about the theatrics. You don't have to worry about how many people are going to turn up and show up to see you perform. You don't have to worry about the numbers. When you learn to be obedient to the gift that was given to you, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. I can't wait to get in that. When you learn to be obedient to what was given to you, don't worry about who's looking. And I'm going to tell you why. And I want every single one of you, you've heard me say this before, but I want you to write it down this time. Because no matter where you're at in your life, there's not going to always be an audience cheering for you. Let me say this again. No matter where you're at in your life, no matter your age, gender, race, political stance, none of that matters. You will not always have an audience cheering for you. So what do you do when you don't have an audience? See, sometimes the worst thing you can have sometimes is an audience. Because when you have an audience, it gives you a false perception that someone's always going to be there to hear you out. Someone always wants to hear what God placed in your heart to do. That's not always true. So you can't say, yes, I'm going to go ahead with that vision that you gave me, God. Yes, I'm going to go ahead with that thing you gave me if you give me an audience of people to show up. And that's why we don't really worry about the audience. But I want you to write this down. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. You can cut open an apple, and you can physically count the seeds that are inside of an apple. You can physically see them. I want you to imagine cutting open an apple, and you can actually see the seeds inside of an apple. But let me tell you what you cannot see. You cannot see the apples that are inside of one seed. So what does that really mean? What that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that's why we don't keep track of who's on this call. We don't care. God didn't give me the vision to say, okay, if 1,000 or 3 million people show up, you should keep doing it. That's not what he gave me the vision for. Because I understand that I can't see the apples that are inside one seed. So that means if just one of you get the concept of what we're saying and catch this seed and begin to water this seed, do you understand it only takes one seed to create a whole orchard? That's why you should not be so concerned with the audience. Do what you were told to do. Just do it. I promise you, God is a lot smarter than me. He's a lot smarter than you. And if we just learn to just do what he tells us to do, I promise you it's going to work out for you. You see, a lot of times we all are always worried about it. Lord, when am I going to get the money? When am I going to get the baby? When am I going to get married? When am I going to have this? When am I going to get the house? When am I going to get the philanthropy business? When am I going to get this? We always are worried about it. This is what a lot of times we worry about. When am I going to get it? Right? And see, as long as you keep speaking it, and as long as you keep the vision before you, you see, I love Habakkuk 2:2. Habakkuk 2:2. I love it. Let me tell you what I love about that scripture. I love the part when it says, though the vision may tarry. Come on, man. Somebody write that down. Do you understand? Tarry. I said T-E-A-R-Y. Not T-E-R-R-Y like Terry, your friend. No, T-E-A-R-Y. Though the vision may tarry, it shall surely come to pass. What does that mean? That simply means even though it may take a while, and it may look like it's not going to happen, but as long as you continue to speak it and you continue to move toward it, though it may tarry, it shall still come to pass. So, yes, I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, keep your vision before you. Keep your vision before you. But you got to move towards it. You got to work towards it. You've got to work towards it. You do. You've got to work towards it. You can't just speak it and dream it and no work. You got to put the work in. And so today, what we're going to focus on, guys, I know sometimes us as human beings, we want the answer. We want the end from the beginning. In other words, guys, we want to know that if I do this thing here, it's going to work out exactly how I planned it to work out. If you ever want to make God laugh, listen to me, tell him your plans. If you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Tell him your plans. It doesn't mean you won't get what you speak. God gave you authority. He said, take dominion. He said, take dominion. That's what he said. He gave you authority. But a lot of times we're worried about it, and God is always trying to teach us about the process. We're worried about it, when I'm going to get it, and God is going to give you it, but he also wants to prepare you for it. So God is always, he's always concerned about the process, because you're his child, right? It's like your kid, your little baby, if he could go run today and run in the street, he would love to do it. But you have to prepare him how to play in the street. He's got to be prepared for that. So there's a time and a season when the kid will get a chance to go into the street. But at 1 year old, he don't need to be in the street. He can kill himself. My point, what I'm saying to you, the same thing. He's really concerned about teaching you the process. Teaching you the process. And so as we're talking about prosperity here today, my goal here today is to get each and every single one of you to understand that you shall have prosperity all the days of your life. You shall have prosperity in your home. No, I'm not a preacher. I'm just reciting what it says. Because, see, sometimes many of us think that maybe we've sinned too bad, therefore prosperity is avoiding you. Sometimes some of us think because I don't come from money or you don't come from this, maybe prosperity is not meant for you. Sometimes some of you think because I live on those side of the tracks and I grew up in the ghetto or I grew up over here in the projects, that prosperity is not for me. Sometimes some of you think that, because I have an accent or I speak this way or I dropped out of college or whatever, you think that prosperity is just not for you. And that's not true at all. That's not true at all. So my aim and my goal on this call on this day is for each and every single one of you that are listening to me, I want you to know in your knower that prosperity is for you right now. Right now. And what does it mean? To have good success in all that you do. Just because it may look like you're failing now, don't you dare say that that's the full story. Just because it may not be going the way you want it to be right now, it's not over yet. So don't come to a conclusion that prosperity is not for you. I know what's going to happen when it finally lands on you and it finally falls into your lap and the manifestation is in your hands. You're going to cry because you're going to be so excited, not only that it happened, but you're going to be so thankful for the process that you had to go through before in order for it to manifest itself. See, if you give it to them too early, they'll lose it real quick. If you give it to them too early, they'll lose it real quick. That's why I'm telling you guys, when we talk about being prosperous, you've got to understand that you're going to have to go through some long nights. You're going to have to go through tears. You're going to have to go through frustration, confusion. I'm just not sure. You're going to have to go through all that stuff. That's the way he set it up. But I came to remind you of something very, very good today. I came with the good news, as they would say on Sunday. I came with the good news for you today. And I want you to know there's not a sin that you can do. There's not a mistake that you could make. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. There's not a sin or a mistake that you can make that mercy will not follow you. God's mercy. Goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. What does that mean? It means there is nothing that you can do to separate the love that God has for you. So what you have to learn to do is say, forgive me, dust yourself off, and keep moving. And understand that you're under construction. You're never going to be perfect. Just keep trying to get better. Just keep trying to be progressive. You're never going to be perfect. So I need your brain. I want to cultivate the soil before I drop this big seed in you. I want your brain to understand there's nothing you've done too wrong. There's no mistake that happened to you. I don't care what happened. What you've got to do is you've got to say it out loud. Prosperity is mine. Favor is mine. You've got to say that, guys. You've got to. And let me tell you something. You can say it right now when we're on the phone, and that's great. But let me tell you when you really need to say it. You really need to say it when it's just not going the way you thought it was going to go. You really need to say it when you're by yourself and you can't find nobody else to run to. You really need to say it when you get in the midst of that storm, and you also need to say it when you're on top of that mountain. You really need to keep this very close in your heart. Do you realize you're going to spend more time with you in this lifetime than you ever will with anyone else? That's why self-talk is the most important talk of your life. What are you telling yourself? And if you only bow down, to the way that you feel, oh my goodness, you missed the mark. Because see, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So the enemy is going to throw distractions at you. What are distractions? Things that look blurry, things that look unsure, things that just don't look like it's in your favor. Those are all the distractions. Yes, they are. They're intentionally sent to distract you from your purpose. Yes, they are. And when they come, you've got to continue to declare the favor that God has given you. You've got to continue. You've got to continue to say, prosperity will be in my house all the days of my life. You have to do that. You have to understand God is not a man, ladies and gentlemen. He's a spirit. He's not a man. He's not a man. So he doesn't lie. He's a spirit. So you can't try and understand God through fleshly or manly ways. He's not a man. Are you listening? He's a spirit. So you can't begin to try and use your flesh to figure out God. You're going to always be wrong. His thoughts are way higher than yours and mine. So guess what? You should be excited right now. Whoever you are, whatever you're waiting on, whatever you're in the midst of, you should be excited to know that God does want the best for you. It is going to happen for you. I know it may not look like it, and I know we may grow weary. I heard somebody say it's okay to be weary in it, but it's not okay to be weary of it. And the difference between in it and of it is this. When you get in it, your flesh gets weak sometimes. That's right. I know I'm not supposed to have McDonald's. I know shouldn't be eating Carl's Jr., and I'm not knocking Carl's Jr. nor McDonald's. I promote both of them. I've had them both. I like them both. I like the Big Carl, and I like the Big Mac, right? That's what I like. I know it's bad for me, and I don't try and do it all the time. I don't. But what I want you to understand is I try and do better choices, but I do like burgers. So my point here that I'm saying to you is you got to continue to speak over your life. You can't just fall into how you feel today. Oh, today I don't feel like speaking. You can't do that, ladies and gentlemen. You have to continue to speak prosperity over your situation, over your children, over your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. You have to continue to speak it. In layman's terms, we say it all the time. Say what you heard until you see what you said. You have to. God is a spirit. He's not a man. And he gave us all the power, the same power that flows in him, it flows through us. But we got to learn how to use that power. And you've got to understand the power of your word. Now, God is not Santa Claus. This is not a magic trick that I'm teaching you. You have to continue to speak against the devourer that comes to kill, steal, and destroy. You have to. And as you speak it, you begin to walk in it. And as you walk in it, sometimes you'll fall. And what do? You get back up and you keep speaking it. You dust yourself off and you keep speaking it. There's nothing that you can do to separate you from the love that God has for you. That is so powerful when we finally begin to believe that. You mean there's nothing I can do? Wow. Because the enemy wants to try and come into your life and try and get you to doubt, to be unsure, and to really believe, well, you're just too short, or you're just too this, it's just not for you. It's just not you. That's the enemy talking. And that's why I want to encourage you to re-listen to this series of prosperity. And so, guys, what I want to do before we end this season of talking about prosperity, because we're going to start a new season next week, I want to leave you with something that I find very powerful. For those of you that may have a relationship with God, and for those of you that don't, I want to encourage you, that those that don't, I want to encourage you to start. I believe it's the best relationship we can ever have, because you don't know who you are until you know who the person that made you, where you come from. Okay? And so I want to share this with you really quickly, guys. I want to share with you that none of us are perfect. All of us make mistakes. Let me say it again. None of us are perfect. All of us will make mistakes. Every single one of you will make mistakes. Some mistakes you know about, and some mistakes you don't know about. But listen to these last words here. No matter how many mistakes that you make, God has a purpose for your life. He has a plan for your life. And if you give me more time, I'll show you so many examples of so many people far worse than you, how God used them in a mighty way, in a mighty, prosperous way. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this call with the facts. You see, now it's one thing when people give you their opinions, but it's a different thing when you go to the Word and you dig up the facts for yourself, so that you know that by you choosing to believe what I'm going to teach you today, this is not someone's opinion. This is a matter of fact. And I want you to know that if God can do it for these people that I'm about to mention, He certainly will do it for you. Again, God has a plan and a purpose for your life. He wants you to prosper. He wants you to have good success in all that you do. And so the next time the enemy tries to knock on your door and get you to doubt, to be unsure, to be confused, to feel little, to feel like I just don't know if I'm this or that, the next time the enemy tries to step to you, I want you to pull this conversation I'm about to give you, I want you to pull this back out and repeat it back to him. Here we go. I want you to realize, if you got a pen, you can write this down, or if you don't have time to write it down, don't worry. We will post this call, and you'll be able to copy it from the call when we post it right after. But it's entitled, I'm going to share with you right now, some people that were used by God. I'm going to share with you some people that were used by God. So the next time you feel like God can't use you, I want you to remember the following people. You see, Noah was a drunk. I want you to go to Genesis 9:21, and God used him. Abraham was too old. I want you to go to Genesis 17:17. Isaac was a daydreamer. I want you to go to Genesis 26:7, 20:2. Jacob was a liar. I want you to go to Genesis 27:19. Okay? Leah was ugly. I want you to go to Genesis 29:16-18. Joseph was abused. Genesis 37-18, 22-28. Moses couldn't talk. Say that again. What? Moses could not talk. Exodus 4:10. Gideon was afraid. Judges 6:27. Samson had long hair, and he was a womanizer. Judges 16:5. 14:2. 16:1. Rahab was a prostitute. Joshua 2:1. 6-17. Jeremiah and Timothy were too young. Jeremiah 1:6-7. And 1 Timothy 4:12. David had an affair and was a murderer. You can find that in 2 Samuel 12:9. Elijah was suicidal. You can find that in 1 Kings 19:4. Isaiah preached naked. You can find that in Isaiah 20:2-3. Jonah, he ran from God. You can find that in the book of Jonah 1-3. Naomi, she was a widow. You can find that in the book of Ruth 1-20. Job went bankrupt. You can find that in the book of Job 1. 13 through verse 19. John the Baptist, he ate bugs. You can find that in the book of Matthew 3 and 4. Peter denied Christ. Say that again. Peter denied Christ. You can find that in the book of Matthew 26, 69 through verse 74. The disciples fell asleep while praying. You can find that in Matthew 26, 40 through 43. Martha was worried about everything. Woo, say that again. Come on. I know we got some Marthas out there. Martha was worried about everything. You can find that in the book of Luke 10, verse 40 through 42. Mary Magdalene, she was demon-possessed. You can find that in the book of Mark 16 and 9. The Samaritan woman, she was divorced more than once. Say it again. The Samaritan woman, she was divorced more than once. You can find that in the book of John 4, 17 through 18. Zacchaeus, he was too small. You can find that in the book of Luke 19, 2 through 3. Paul was too religious. You can find that in the book of Acts 17 and 22. Timothy had an ulcer. You can find that in the book of 1 Timothy 5 and 23. Lazarus was dead. You can find that in John 11, 1 through 44. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no more excuses. Don't tell me that God can't use you. Don't tell me that God doesn't want you to be prosperous. Don't tell me that it's too late, you're too old, situation's too dry. Don't tell me anything but the facts. If God can use them, he certainly can use you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the California Kid. We will post this call as soon as it's over. I love you guys. There's nothing you can do about it, and we'll see you guys all next week. Thanks for listening. This concludes our series on prosperity. God bless. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye for now.